Tom Sawyer is laughing. It's easy to laugh at conspiracy theories. That is, it's easy to laugh until you find yourself falling victim to one. Mine's as old as Tom Sawyer and whitewashed fences, and I'm afraid I played right into their diabolical little scheme. Mayday has many meanings, but in my case, it was the beginning of the scam. I'm not sure how many players were involved and if the con was organic or planned. I just know that I'm the one who got took. How, you ask? Allow me to elucidate. Matt Ford, a friend of mine in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, is a realtor. He posted a listing on Facebook, and the accompanying picture looked very familiar. When I clicked on the photo, I realized that the property lay about halfway between our former residence and the elementary school that I walked my children to daily beginning in 1998. Once on Google Maps, I scrolled northward to the residence we left in August 2015. When I switched to satellite view, it looked as though someone was in my old yard, so I changed to street view and was amused to see a photo of my wife cutting the lawn. Amused? Well, my wife left Iowa 6 years ago, and there she was, immortalized on Google Maps. I texted my wife and our far-flung children, "Remember when Google Earth had a photo of the green van in the driveway of one of Sean's friend's house?" Referencing a photo over a decade old. While she does way more work around and especially inside the house than I do, they have her cutting the lawn, which I do at least 80% of the time. My text created an uproar. My daughter-in-law, Katie, responded with, "I don't ever remember you mowing the lawn. I always see Pat doing it. I literally just told John that, too." Pat joined in the text. "Keith is convinced he mows the lawn 90% of the time." I disagree. Now he is marking the calendar when the lawn is mowed, and who doesn't? So far, he is ahead with one. 4 days elapsed, and on May 5th I wrote, "I cut the lawn today. Me do it. Pat has not cut the lawn all year." Katie, "You're only doing it so you can get ahead right now." Pat, "You got that right, Katie, LOL. Keith, "She told me to." Katie, "Oh, no. I've heard this conversation many times. Just because Pat told you to, it doesn't mean you would actually follow through and do it." Keith, "Crap. Busted." I cut the lawn again, but felt no need to brag. However, on May 22nd, my wife threw the gauntlet. Not that it's a competition or anything, but Keith 2, Pat 1 for the year. So what you're saying is that Keith is done mowing for the year now? Raleigh had a very dry spring, and the lawn didn't need to be cut again until June. On June 3rd, I tactfully texted, "Hey, Pat, is it true that Keith has cut the lawn 50% more often than you have in 2021? Katie, "Season is still young." Pat, "Thank you, Katie." Katie, "There's literally Google Earth evidence Pat mows the lawn." Keith, "Fake news." June 5th. Keith, "I beat Pat in our triathlon today." On the bike. Katie, "Did you win so she'd have to mow the lawn?" Keith, "She beat me, but mostly in the swim." Katie, "So overall loser has to mow the lawn." Keith, "I have to mow the lawn regardless because statistically I am the one who mows the lawn." Katie, "Pretty sure your stats are biased on emotion." Keith, 3-2. Katie, "For now." Keith, 4-2 comes next. I think Pat paid Katie to say Pat mows way more often than I do because now I'm going to go cut the lawn to retake the lead. Patricia cut the lawn May 7th, which brought the score to 3-all. She informed me that the lawn needed to be cut again on May 13th. I made sure I beat her to it so she would not get the upper hand. It was then that I realized that my wife and daughter-in-law were in cahoots and that I was being played. June 13th. Keith, "There's something very Mark Twainish going on here." Katie, "Let me just tell you how hard I cackled at that." Oh, she's cackling, is she? The question is, why is she cackling? Is it because I'd been had? Because I saw it through the ruse? Or because it was all just innocent ramifications from a picture from our past? I may never know, but I have my suspicions. Tom Sawyer laughed all the way to the bank.